AS level maths, looking at coordinate geometry, looking at straight lines in this video lesson. It says that we are given that the point A has coordinates 1, 7 and point B has coordinates h10. Okay, so A has coordinates 1, 7 and B has coordinates of h10. It says you are given that the gradient of AB is 2 and we're asked to find the value of h. Well, the gradient of 2 points of a straight line is the change in y over the change in x. So delta y over delta x, the difference in y over the difference in x. So you might see me write as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So plugging this in, guys, this is what we're going to get. So m is equal to 10 minus 7, so y2 minus y1, or the difference in the y coordinates divided by the difference in the x coordinates over h minus 1. The top is going to simplify to 3, because 10 minus 7 is 3, over h minus 1. So that's our gradient, gradient function. That's going to be equal to 2, right, because that's what m is equal to. So m is equal to 2, for that. So I've got my equation, I'm going to solve it. So I'm going to multiply both sides by h plus 1 and then divide through both sides by 2, giving me this. So we're going to get 3 over 2 is equal to h minus 1, I'm then going to add 1, or plus 1 to both sides, 3 over 2 or 3 halves plus 1, 3 halves plus 2 halves, 3 over 2 plus 2 over 2 equals 5 over 2, which equals h. Therefore, h equals 2.5 or 2 and a half. So now I can replace h with 2.5 or 5 over 2. But just for the purpose here, I'm going to decimalize it, so it's a bit easier to actually work with. Next up, it says you were given that B is the midpoint of AC. Find the coordinates of point C. So B is the midpoint of AC. So we know what A is, right? It's 1, 7. We know what B is. That's 2.5 and 10. And we now need to work out the coordinates of C. Let's call it x3 and y3 because it's our third coordinate. So to work out the midpoint of 2 points of AC, we're going to add our x coordinates together and then half it, and then do the same for the y coordinates. So we're going to do 1 plus x3 divided by 2, and then we're going to do 7 plus y3. I'm going to divide it by 2, and that will give us AC. Now, how do we work out what y3 and x3 are going to be? Well, the x coordinate, because B is the midpoint, right, of AC. So 1 plus x3 all over 2 has to equal to 2.5 for that one there. And then conversely or similarly, 7 plus y3 over 2 is equal to 10, right? Because that's the y coordinate of the midpoint, point B. So now I've got an equation I can obviously solve. So times up by 2 for there. So we get 1 plus x3 is equal to 5. So double 2.5 is 5. And then I'm going to put a comma there. It's not very clear. I'm going to have 7 plus y3 is equal to 10 times 2 is 20. Solving each equation separately, so I'm going to subtract 1 here. So x3 is going to be equal to 4. And then subtracting 7 on both sides, we get that y3 is equal to 20 minus 7 is 13. Now we know what x3 and y3 are, so the coordinates of C are just simply the point or points for 13. And check if you're unsure. The midpoint of AC, 1 plus 4 is 5, divided by 2, I get 2.5, so that's correct. And then 7 plus 13 is 20. Half that, or divided by 2, I get 10. Therefore, that confirms that B is my midpoint of AC. So the coordinates of C, just to repeat that, is 4, 13. So to work out the midpoint of 2 points, you add together your x coordinates or your x components, and then you half it or you divide it by 2, and then you add together your y coordinates divided by 2, and that'll be the new y coordinate of the midpoint for the y coordinate, okay? So you do x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and then y1 plus y2 divided by 2, and that's to work out the midpoint of 2 points.